Welcome to Love, Laughter, and Limits. I'm Tom Dozier, and this lesson is Expectations for Children. What is a child's job? In this class, I'm going to share my view on general high-level expectations for children. This is what I see as the job of a child that will allow the child to grow up into a happy, productive, independent, and self-sufficient adult. When I teach parenting classes, I teach the importance of positive reinforcement of good behavior. And regularly, a parent may say, well, I don't think I should have to bribe my child to do the things he's supposed to do. And I ask the question of the class, how many of you have a job where you get a paycheck? I get a good show of hands. And then I say, how many of you consider that paycheck a bribe? Of course, no hands go up. You see, a bribe is offering an inducement to do something illegal or immoral. If we look at our children and what we expect them to do as really their job, then it makes a lot more sense that children deserve a paycheck. So first I want to talk about what is the child's job? What is expected? And I have 4 expectations for a child. To get a good education, to learn the social, emotional, and spiritual skills to have a good life, to learn the self-sufficiency skills to be independent and self-sufficient, and to be a contributing member of the family. Now, there's actually a 5th expectation, which is after they're 18, we expect, it really converged to this expectation, is that the child is expected to be independent and self-sufficient, or to be actively gaining skills to become independent and self-sufficient. Well, when you do your job, you earn a paycheck. That's the way the employment system works. And when your child does his job, it's appropriate that he earns his paycheck, which is really his share of the benefits that the family has to offer. This includes things like all the physical things that the family has, okay? Anything related to physical property, any money, time and attention from parents, all of those are privileges that the family has to offer that's part of the child's paycheck. Such things around the home as TV, internet, phone, games, transportation, taxi service, paying for lessons, music, sports, dance, and so forth. Activities, that includes money and parent time for sports leagues or other kind of activities of interest that the children have. This is a general relationship. It's not a specific, you do this, this, and this, and you get, $73. It's a general relationship that a child does their job, and then they enjoy the family benefits. It can include an allowance. I'm perfectly fine with an allowance that's not tied to any specific behavior or expectation, but it's tied to the fact that the child is doing their job as a child, these 4 general expectations. It can include the opportunity to work to do specific chores for money. And that's perfectly okay as long as the child understands that there's general chores and responsibilities and being helpful, that's their part of their job anyway. It can include appreciation from parents, praise, specific privileges such as time with a parent, activities, games, toys, treats. The list is almost endless. Now, the amount that a child earns is not so important as there is a contingent relationship between behavior and payoff. In the outside real world, some people earn $8 an hour. In some places, people earn much less. And some people earn $250 per hour. The amount depends on the going rate. What are the skills of the individual and who's willing to pay for it? Well, in a family, the payoffs can vary wildly. Some families, an appropriate payoff would for at the end of doing their weekly job, just doing what's appropriate for children to be doing, maybe going on a ski trip for the weekend. That's a huge amount of money, right? If you looked at the hourly, what the kid would be earning per hour to pay for this weekend ski trip, it's enormous. You know, other families may just be playing some games together or a picnic in the park. It all depends on the family. But the important principle here is work and earn that paycheck, right? Behavior and payoffs. And there's lots of natural payoffs that children will be learning about becoming competent and learning life skills, and there's lots of natural payoffs, but as parents and as a family, we need to make sure that we still support this work and earn principle. Okay, let's go through these expectations one by one. The first one is to get a good education. Now, this is the behavior in school, being on task, cooperative, doing their homework, becoming competent in the skills that they're supposed to be learning. And this chart shows the unemployment rates in the United States for 2011 and the average weekly earnings in the United States for 2011 based on the amount of education that the person has. So this is for individuals 25 and over. And so if a person does not have a high school diploma, then on average they're only making $450 a week, and there's about a 14% unemployment rate. Just getting that high school diploma gives them an average of a third more in income and a third less risk of unemployment. If a person goes on to get a bachelor's degree in college, it adds almost another 50% over the high school diploma in terms of income, all the way up to $1,000, and less than half the occurrence of unemployment. Well, close to that, roughly half the occurrence. So education pays, and in this day and age, we should expect our children to get a good education, and they should know that. The next expectation is to learn the social, emotional, and spiritual skills to have a good life. You know, this is all about wanting them to grow up and be happy, healthy, well-adjusted, independent adults. So of course they should learn these skills. Interacting nicely with siblings, cooperating with others, including parents, social interaction with peers and friends, getting along with others, staying calm and in control. That means no tantrums. That's an emotional skill, right? Handling disappointment, another emotional skill. And dealing with life directly instead of escaping to drugs. Once again, an important emotional skill. Spiritual skills, such as a general respect for others, and learning the family values of God, religion, and spirituality. These are important things for the child to grow up and be a well-adjusted adult. The next expectation is to learn the self-sufficiency skills to be independent. Even at a very young age, this starts by doing self-care skills, personal hygiene, baths, brushing your own teeth, getting up on your own and getting ready in the morning independently. And I don't mean that it's not okay for the parent to wake them up, if that's perfectly fine. But the child shouldn't have to be drug out of bed. Life skills, cooking, cleaning, washing clothes, buying groceries, buying their clothing, managing their finances, a very important life skill. Learning to be dependable and work reliably, to stay on task, to show up on time, and to work hard while they're there. Having transportation skills, driving a car, getting a license, or knowing how to use mass transit, how to change a tire on a car, how to take care of a home, yard work, home repairs, unstopping a toilet, simple plumbing repairs. I personally know how to sew. That's a great life skill for me. I use it all the time. Well, once a year maybe, I guess, really. But trying to do things around the house and take care of things. It's a handy skill. So it's good for kids to learn that sort of things. And then be a contributing member of the family. Taking care of their room, taking care of their own things. But cleaning up after themselves. Right? They shouldn't have a maid service. Helping with chores around the house, dishes, yard work, taking care of the pets, cleaning the home, vacuuming, mopping, cleaning the bathrooms. Helping with babysitting for siblings is perfectly good contributing member of the family expectation. Helping with meal preparation. And an important one is contributing to the general positive atmosphere in the home. Right? Every member of the family is important, and every member should be contributing to the happy family. Now, that takes a child up to the point where they become an adult. And when a child turns 18 and has graduated from high school, or they've dropped out of high school, then legally they're an adult, and they need to be treated as an adult. So at this point, the skills change, the expectation changes, and the expectation is that a child needs to be independent and self-sufficient, or actively gaining skills that will allow them to become independent and self-sufficient. Now, when it comes to gaining skills, parents, you have a responsibility there still. And most of you agree with that, but you have to decide what it is that you're going to pay. Are you going to pay to send them to Stanford? Huge amount of money. Are you going to pay to send them to the local community college and to the local state university? What is it that you're going to contribute? And decide, that's your decision, but then it's up to the child to be either full-time going to school, or either university or trade school, to gain skills that will lead them to employment. Now, that means if they're going to the university, to the community college, they should be going for a degree. They should have a degree plan. And what a degree plan is, it says, what degree am I working toward? And on what date will I earn it? And what are the classes that I'm going to need to take by semester to get me there? And, it doesn't have to be every single class. It may be, 6 hours of electives. It may be specifics. But once they start into school, the counselors have all the requirements to get a degree. And it would really help the child focus on what it means to be actively engaged in getting an education, getting those skills, getting a degree, versus, I'm going to school. Now, in my family, actively gaining skills meant roughly 15 hours a semester. A full-time student is 12, but to get a degree in 4 years, you have to take 15 hours a semester. So that was the expectation for my children. And that's what the support that I gave was based upon, of them actually actively taking an average load, which is 15 hours per semester. Now, if they don't want to do that, if you don't have the finances to send your child to college, then they need to become independent and self-sufficient. And that means they need to pay 100% of the expenses that it costs to live. They should be paying a full share of the housing, food, and utilities. And in my part of California, that would be probably $600 to $800 a month just for food, housing, and utilities. They should be paying for their own phone, their own transportation, meaning that they pay for their own car, or they pay you for the wear and tear and maintenance of the car, that they're paying their own insurance, they're paying for their own gasoline, they're buying their own clothes, They're paying for their own entertainment, they're spending money and all incidentals. And they even pay for their own medical expenses. The one possible exception that I would suggest is that if they're on your insurance plan, keep them on your insurance plan. Unless they are financially stable enough to get their own insurance, keep them on your plan for a while. But the child should still be taking responsibility for paying all the medical doctor visit copays, drug copays, any kind of, it should be clear that anything that medical costs that they need to cover. And any expense that comes their way because of something they've done is their responsibility. They need to be 100% independent and self-sufficient. So, in summary again, these expectations for children is to get a good education, to learn the social, emotional, and spiritual skills to have a good life, to learn the self-sufficiency skills to be independent and self-sufficient, and to be a contributing member of the family. And then after 18, they need to either be independent and self-sufficient or actively gaining skills that will allow them to become independent and self-sufficient. Thank you for watching this class. Expectations for Children. What is a child's job? I'm Tom Dozier, wishing you an abundance of love and laughter in your family, along with limits to help your children behave well and be happy. Thank you.